What up, everybody? I'm Brian Willis, no relation to Bruce. And as promised, today we are talking about the 2024/2025 Ford Ranger. Not the XL, not the XLT, nope, not the Wild Track, but the big bad Raptor, aka Moteva Komana. Team No Plates. I will be using the Wild Track for a lot of the comparisons though, so that you have an idea of just how bonkers the Raptor is. Now, the Ford Ranger has really come a long way. I mean, I'm sure y'all remember this and this, but this is when I feel the Ranger entered the pickup chat. When they came up with the T6 platform and their designs just got better and better from then on. Fun fact, the current VW Amarok is on the same platform as well as the Mazda BT50. Now, with the current Raptor, they went full-on F-150 with the styling, and I love it. The C-shaped lights with the Matrix LED headlights that come standard are a welcome aesthetic upgrade. Fun fact about the C-shaped LED lights. When you're looking at it head-on, only the left side headlamp actually has a C shape. The right side is only a C shape if you are dyslexic. It is also believed that the C-shaped LEDs were Ford's way of saying thank you to our C10s for making this car their favorite, as it is even part of our presidential motorcade. Now, dare I say, this is the most handsome pickup in its class. Looks-wise, no Navarro Hilux is competing here. Maybe the D-Max and the Amarok give stiffer competition, but the Raptor is way ahead. Now, the Raptor has quite a few tattletale design elements on the outside for you to tell it apart from the lower spec trims. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there is a Ford Ranger, then there's a Ford Ranger Raptor. Okay, there's a difference. Not every Ford Ranger is a Raptor. Okay, now for starters, the front. This one has huge Ford letters spanning the entirety of the front grille. Ordinary Rangers just have a blue Ford badge. Down the side, you have the obvious Raptor graphics towards the back of the loading bin. And from the back, you have the black Ford badge. Yes, black. Ordinary Rangers have it in blue. Now, all Ford Rangers have the Ranger name embossed into the tailgate, so that's not a tattletale sign. They all have it. Nothing much else tells you it's a Raptor from the back. Well, if you're not a car enthusiast, that is. But if you are, you will notice twin exhausts. Now, this is the most Raptor feature to look for on this car. I have noticed some so-called Raptors driving around with single exhausts tucked under. I can only assume those are fake because the Raptor comes with the 3-liter twin-turbo V6 EcoBoost engine. Yes, 3-liter V6 twin-turbo petrol engine. Yes, petrol. Now, because it's turbocharged, it comes with an anti-lag system. Basically, what that does is it keeps the turbos spooled for up to 3 seconds after you floor it for a quick response the next time you order up a good helping of pedal to metal, reducing the effects of the dreaded turbo lag significantly. Now, obviously this engine needs to breathe, and only the Raptor and the Wild Track have the twin exhausts, as both cars boast V6 engines. But the Wild Track is the slightly more down-to-earth because it's a diesel V6 bi-turbo engine. All this is sent to the wheels via a 10-speed automatic gearbox in both cars. Now, clearly the Raptor was made with performance being the focal point and practicality being somewhat an afterthought, like, okay, just put it in there somewhere. As this car favors ponies under the hood over torque, as if the V6 petrol twin-turboed engine wasn't enough. It comes with Ford performance-developed Fox 2.5-inch live valve internal bypass shock absorbers with coil springs in the back compared to the Wild Track with leaf springs in the back. Clearly, this makes the Raptor a better performer maniac-wise, but the trade-off comes in the form of lower load and towing capacity, which is 652 kgs and 2,500 kgs respectively, compared to the Wildtrak's 985 kgs and 3,500 kgs. Now, fuel consumption on the Raptor will have you knowing fuel attendance on a first name basis. You're looking at anything from 14 liters per 100 kilometers, and that can rise up to 2.4 liters per 100 kilometers if you drive it like Wicknell gives you $50,000 fuel money every month, which is how you should be driving it. Because let's face it, you didn't buy this thing to be subtle. Now, did you? Interior-wise, the Ford Ranger Raptor is quite comfy. The obvious takeaways from it are the red trim highlights in the seats, the steering, and the air vents. Oh, and the super comfy looking bucket seats with lower back and side supports and nifty looking headrests. You got a vertical 12-inch screen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, both wireless. Now, because it's vertical, the buttons are at the bottom, which means ergonomically it's a bit of a faff to use, as you have to take your eyes off the road to see what you're pressing. The Raptor gets a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, which is slightly smaller in other trims. And now back to the exhaust. See, the exhaust has 4 modes. There's quiet, of which no. Normal. Why would you want to drive it in normal when it's not a normal car? You're clearly not a normal person, so that's out. Then you got sport. And we're getting there. Then we've got a mode called Baja, which is only for off-road use. It even comes up with a warning because of the noise it makes. And obviously, features with such warnings are usually the most fun, which is why you would buy a Ford Raptor over a Wildtrak. And this is also why I said if it has one little pea shooter exhaust at the back, it's a fake Raptor. At the end of the day, it's all about the wallet versus your ego. If your wallet is as big as your ego, you're going to go for the loud and proud Raptor. However, if your wallet is slightly smaller than your ego, the Wildtrak will do just fine. Just don't be challenging any Raptors at the traffic lights unless you saw beforehand that it's got a single pea shooter sticking out the back. Which car would you like for me to talk about? And what do you think about the Ford Raptor? And which one would you prefer between the Ford Raptor and the Wildtrak? I'm Brian Willis, no relation to Bruce, and this was another episode of We Love Cars!